In the Vedic conception of time, entire universes and their creator gods are born and destroyed in the twinkling of an eye. These are the epics of kalpas and pralayas, vast cosmic cycles where existence itself repeatedly collapses into nothingness. For the human mind, this scale is terrifying. Our existential dread stems from the perceived reality of this repetitive history, the cycle known as samsara. We cling to a physical world that is constantly vanishing. A radical solution to this terror is found in a philosophical text commonly known today as the Yoga Vāsiṣṭha. However, scholars like Walter Sly have established that this is a later, distorted name. The original, authentic text was called the Mokṣopāya, the means to liberation. The Mokṣopāya teaches that time is merely a pastime for absolute consciousness. To illustrate this, the text introduces an anomaly, a seemingly fragile, immortal bird that survives the end of the world. To overcome the fear of death, we have to understand how a single crow outlives the gods of the cosmic trinity. We can trace this idea through the journey of the Sage Vasiṣṭha, who traveled to Mount Moru, the spiritual North Pole of the cosmos, to investigate rumors of an entity that survives cosmic dissolution. There he finds a wish-fulfilling kalpa tree. In yogic symbolism, this tree represents the sushumna, the central spinal channel. In its branches rests a being in total tranquility. This is Bhusunda, an ancient crow. He tells Vasiṣṭha that he has lived through the rise and fall of countless human progenitors, and has even witnessed multiple past incarnations of Vasiṣṭha himself. This page of the manuscript, specifically the dialogue shown here in section 6, establishes his true nature. Bhusunda is not a deity. He is a jivan mukta, a being liberator while living, who has gained direct knowledge of all times. He represents the ultimate anomaly, a physical being who remains intact as pure vacuity, utterly undisturbed while the society of gods and mortals is repeatedly destroyed around him. Bhusunda recounts surviving world-ending floods and the burning flame of solar rays that melt mountains into lava. He endured these apocalypses through perfect stillness. His method is a continuous, dedicated practice of pranayama. He maintains absolute physical equilibrium by perfectly balancing the incoming life breath, prana, and the outgoing breath, apana. The text outlines the mechanics of this survival. Omnipresent consciousness is awakened into experiencing the physical universe by the movement of prana. By restraining this breath, the external world appearance ceases to affect the yogi. Through this practice, Bhusunda rises above the division of time itself. He remains untouched even during the night of the creator Brahma, when the universe goes dark. His physical immortality is a byproduct of his realization. He sees life and death as mere conditions of the body, completely separate from the true, immortal self. But breath control alone is not the full answer. True liberation requires the destruction of vasanas, the latent psychological impressions and seeds of delusion that compel consciousness to vibrate and attach to objects. The Mokṣopāya warns that even a trace of this mental conditioning can grow into a mighty forest of samsara, binding an individual to the endless cycle of rebirth. In this passage, when inquiry is directed at the ego sense, the mind becomes no mind. Pure minds will their experience into being. Further down, it shows how a liberated being acts, spontaneously, free from causal chains of desire. This aligns directly with the Tripura Rahasya, which states that liberation is the direct result of unqualified samadhi. It is the state where pure intelligence permanently dispels the void of ignorance. The text explains this spontaneous action through the Sanskrit metaphor of Kakatalia, the crow and the coconut palm. A crow lands on a tree at the exact microsecond a ripe coconut falls. To the conditioned mind, the bird caused the fruit to drop. But in reality, there is no causal link. The universe operates the same way, an arbitrary, spontaneous occurrence without a grand designer or inescapable fate. Bhusunda acts as the liberated witness to this cosmic chaos. He realizes that the entire world appearance is merely an arbitrary vibration of consciousness, a coincidence mistaken for destiny. The Mokṣopāya claims that once this false notion of a knowable world apart from the knower ceases, consciousness immediately regains its natural equilibrium. Bhusunda survives the end of the world because he understands that the world never truly began. This reflects a core truth found in the Ashtavkra, which asks, why should the ocean worry over the birth and death of a wave? True immortality is not the physical survival of the body. It is the deep realization of being the immaterial intelligence that observes the body, an intelligence completely unattached to space or time. Bhusunda's story is a precise model for human freedom. It shows how to anchor the self in unconditioned consciousness, a state where birth and death are recognized as meaningless words. Bhusunda proves that the still mind can conquer ages. But what happens when the mind is not still? Next, we follow King Lavana into a world where a few minutes of meditation become an entire lifetime of suffering.